Welcome to 108 Gate. We are doing a reading for the current time of you coming to this space. So let's see what's happening. Hope you're well. Okay. Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. Okay, this. Right. I'm going to put that there and this one here because it definitely feels like a triangle. So there is a pursuit of something of meaning. There's something of high value of it could be a long-term goal, medium-term goal, short-term goal, or lots of little things that build up to something that's worthwhile. The important part here is you could be back and forth with this thing. It could be that it's seemingly going correctly at some point, and then all of a sudden something delays it, or something gets in the way, an obstacle, and then you have to take a step back. So the point is that when you take that step back, it may feel organic and natural to do so. I'm feeling the sensation of if someone's pushed, so you're trying to move forward and then someone's pushed, but they haven't, when someone's pushed back, they haven't gone back to the starting point. They've only gone back a significant amount, but not to the starting point. And the thing is, you took those steps forward and you got to that point. It's only because that force coming here, so to speak, stops you from proceeding further. So it's the matter that seems to be coming up here is when you come to that force that steps in your way or is an obstacle or prevents you from moving forward, what happens? What is the push and pull? And I feel like my voice is getting louder. Possibly is, possibly isn't. I don't know. It just feels like it's getting louder, and it's like, how do you respond to this push and pull? Do you get aggressive? Do you get passive? Do you get passive aggressive? Do you get silenced? Do you get shoved to the side? Do you just dismiss any progress you've made and just give up because it's getting exhausting? Or what is it that you do when you're pushed down or pushed away from where you're going towards? This is something that needs to be changed, and doing it with strength, finding the courage that we spoke of yesterday's reading, and then the other day was looking at things like the intention behind things, and the intention actually becoming a fuel and a force. So just because your intention is strong and someone else is stopping your intention, or something else is stopping your intention to move forward, doesn't mean you have to stop. It may mean that you need I was about to say smarter approach, whatever that means. Let's see what happens. It may mean that you need a different approach. So when I said smarter, it just felt like a bit of a dig. It felt like a bit of an insult. That's why I stopped. But what I mean by smarter is, don't be worried about outsmarting someone. So for example, if you have been taught to be of a certain level of intelligence or a certain level of achievement, but you know and you feel and you sense this is why you're stepping forward, that there's more in you, there's more of your potential that you need to embrace and that can enhance you, but you haven't gone for it. Removing those blocks, removing those limitations and restrictions that others have put on you, so you allow your organic smartness, your organic higher intelligence to come in, to flow in. Also, don't limit yourself to other people's level of intelligence. Again, it sounds like an insult, but that's not what it's intended to be. So what I mean by that is, if you're... It's a really awkward energy without sounding rude. Making sure that you're full, it really is like when someone talks about stay in your own lane and things like that. I'm not particularly a fan of that saying, because there's so many weird things that just don't equate to what I think sometimes is meant. So what I mean is, it's like when someone has diminished your perspective, or they've taken your sight away from here or away from here, told you you're only able to achieve this, you're only able to achieve that. Why are you trying to do this? Nobody else could do it, so what makes you think you could do it? And I know it sounds really obvious, but there is some more layers. There are some more layers to this trying to come in and just can't access it, which is interesting because that's the energy. It's been hidden from yourself for so long that it might not be accessible right now. But when you get pushed or pulled away from your goal, away from what you're working from, how do you respond? How do you react? How can you change it to keep going, keep pursuing that next step? So you've got strength again and safety. Strength with strength and safety. It really is a strong energy. Like I said, I keep feeling this push pull, but not to become subjected to the push or the pull from someone else or something else. You need to be able to stand firm in that space. So, for example, when learning Kung Fu, for example, it's not. It wasn't. There was two things that were taught first. One was how to not even lift your hands, not even to raise your hands. Use the power of your voice. If you can diffuse a situation with, maybe that's why I was talking louder earlier, or I felt like I was talking louder earlier. If you can use the power of your voice, that you can diffuse a conflict, that is more power than having to physically go into combat with someone. So what that is coming in here is, if you can use your voice in a different way, that means that you won't have to raise your voice or feel like you have to shout, or use your voice in a lower frequency way to be impactful. How do you find the power in your voice without raising the volume or without changing the tone? So being firm, gentle, kind, yet authoritative in a way that you are heard. Is your voice being blocked? I've said it before, I'll say it again. There is a whole playlist you can see with tuning forks. So maybe it'd be useful if this is resonating, to go into the throat chakra a few times. It feels like it is resonating with someone. So to do that tuning fork track, I want to call it, a few times over and over. I'm not sure why the hesitation is about. So there's something about the safety here. I'm not feeling safe to speak your words. So it might be that you thought them, you've said them to yourself, or you've said them to someone else, but you haven't said them to the actual source that you need to say them to. We've been here before. So one practice that I have given my Reiki clients or quantum alchemy clients in the past is, if you need to have a deep conversation with someone, it's kind of on the Gestalt chair therapy, but it's not, because it's a different structure, so not to worry about that. If you have a photo of the person you need to speak to and have that conversation that you can't have with them face to face, because it's too difficult, or whatever it is, it's too difficult, so you can't have that conversation because it may be that they may have passed, or you can't have that conversation with them because you're estranged from each other, whatever it is, or it's you don't want to hurt their feelings, whatever it is, a photo of them or an image in your mind and having that conversation with them truthfully, honestly. The main part of this is having that honesty come through your throat chakra, come through your emotion, come through your heart without that restriction. So the safety here feels like that's one way of doing it. You can speak the words, you can communicate the words, you can express the words without it creating some of that conflict you may be scared of or worried about. This is also a good way of processing and kind of organising your thoughts, because if you're unclear of how you want to say it, or unclear, or you always get into that conflict here, that when you have certain conversations, it ends up in a row, it ends up in a fight, it ends up in a disagreement, it ends up with feeling like you've gone backwards instead of forwards, or you're not making any progress. If you have that conversation out loud with yourself first, either to a photograph or an image in your mind or whatever it is, it's like there's energies that need to be freed up in the throat chakra. Right. 5 of Cups on its side. So it's not that you're in the conflict, it's not that you're free from the conflict, but it feels like there is definitely something keeping stuck. So it seems, like I just said earlier, that you've tried to tackle this issue, you've tried to tackle this problem, but you keep getting hooked on that same thing. There's something here that needs to be adjusted in the sense of your perspective of what you're actually capable of needs to be changed, and also your willingness to empower your own voice from a calm space is really important. Finding your inner peace, finding your grace, finding your integrity and autonomy is going to be that kind of stuff that empowers your voice naturally, organically, without you having to shout, without you having to scream, without you having to cry. And I'm not saying you shouldn't cry. I'm saying there's a certain interaction with this person or this force which always ends up in the same loop because you're responding to it in the same way. Find a new response which works for you. Find a new response which you actually be heard. That sounds like a trick thing to even have to deal with for some people. I can sense that. It's like, but they don't listen. How do you get yourself to be heard? Again, it's like, how long is a piece of string? How do you do that? What do I need to do? Asking yourself, what do I need to do to be heard? What do I need to do to be actually listened to? What do I need to do? What do I need to say for the message to be heard? Am I saying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome? Am I talking about the same problem in the same way? Am I talking about the same issue in the same way? Am I sending in a request in the same way and I'm getting the same refusal, or I'm getting the same rejection? What needs to be shifted and changed? 7 of Wands again. So around this thing that's of value to you, that you're pursuing, that you're wanting, that you're doing, is having conflict. It feels like double strength, double 7 of Wands. You need to double up on your strength because the intensity of the conflict seems to be increasing too. It might be that the actual conflict is the same, but the intensity is changing because your willingness to pursue it is getting more. Therefore, the friction is coming in to stop you as well, or try to stop you, or put an obstacle there. So this is why now it makes sense why I was saying you need to get smarter. You need to find a different way of doing it. You need to embrace your full potential. Anywhere you've been taken off path or distracted from your full potential, from your higher potential, you need to get back onto it. This is bringing up an energy of wanting and needing to trust yourself more, have faith in your intuition and instinct, do those things that get your intuition and instinct stronger. So for example, one way of doing that, I don't know if I've said this on this channel before, I know I definitely haven't possibly said it on the other channel, is if you come into a situation and you feel like you don't have the answer, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to do it, have a brief scan of if you've been in a similar situation before and look at it from as an objective part of perspective as you can. My words are getting all tangled up. So challenge your beliefs, challenge your thought patterns, challenge your way of thinking, challenge how you are perceiving things. So for example, this is an example that's coming up because it was spoken about, it's just coming up now in my mind because it was spoken about a while ago by someone. So somebody was told they can't leave their job. They need to just change their behaviour to fit the protocol, and this person said that's unethical, I'm not doing it that way. They persisted, just do it this way and then you can keep your job. So, well, I'm saying I don't want to keep this job, I'm going for a new job. And then that person felt bad about themselves for a long time. Now, through certain practices, through getting a new perspective, that person is able to see that there's something of value in that person that that employer saw, that they did not want to let that person go. Whereas before, that person did not speak up for so long because they were scared of losing their job. Finally, when things got too close to the bone, they got too close to it being unethical for that person, that's when they got the voice to actually say, enough is enough, I'm out. But it's about doing it in a way that you don't have to get to that breaking point. It's about making sure that you've looked at everything as possibly as you can to be objective and look at what am I providing here? What are they getting from me here? Why do they want me to stay so much? Why do they keep holding me stuck? What is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing? This is where the strength in yourself is important. This is where you start seeing all those examples of when someone's just downplayed your ability, or they've downplayed the resources that you have, or they've downplayed what you've achieved. And then you start taking that on and thinking, actually, it's not worth much. Actually, I don't have much. Actually, what am I actually worth? And you start depleting your own value. You start depleting the value of what you've done and who you are. This is asking you to take a look at that again. Challenge it. If you had nothing of value, why are they holding on so tight? If you had nothing of value, why are they pushing you back and pulling you when you're trying to step forward? What is actually happening? Wow. Nine of Wands. There's a lot of wands here. There's a lot of action happening. Because this is black and white, there is another colour version of this one. Because this is black and white, it feels like you're going to remember a conflict in the past. It came to that point of fruition that, like here, enough stamina to battle it. Again, keeping the heart pumping, enough stamina to battle it. Could reconnect these again. Here, being through the battle, still holding a wand up, but there's less fight here. So it's like that breaking point has occurred. What happened at that breaking point? What was it in yourself? Enough is enough. You had strong enough principles, or you had strong enough belief in yourself, or you had strong enough conviction of like, this is not right, this is not correct, this is not the way I operate, to be able to then stand up for it. What was that? Focus on that and allow some of the answers to come in of where the true wealth is. Because the wealth may be that you're seeing one thing, but you might actually have other wealth beneath that. So you've got that Six of Wands, a victory over this. With the Magician, depending on how you do it, the way you approach it needs to be different. This is why the Five of Cups is neither upside down, it's neither straight, it's on its side. It's in the process of being released. It's in the process of either coming back again or released. It's a tipping point, a possible tipping point. You have possibly seen people talking about the new split, the next split that's coming. I don't know why. Maybe that's why I'm back on YouTube again, because the split's coming and I can feel it. And it's like, right, we need to get back on here. Who knows? But this now is going to create a new order, a new way of being. We're seeing it all over. Macro and micro. You may be seeing it on a micro level for yourself in your own environment, with your contact and context and communication with others. So how do you get that victory? What do you need to alchemize? How do you need to step up to change the world into what you actually want it to be like? We're going to get a masculine card and a feminine card on here. So Page of Cups, emotions. There are going to be some, maybe this is why, I was going to say it before, but it felt a bit raw. Some of the reasons why you may not feel strong to have certain conversations or say certain things is because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. The thing is, it may be that now you see, I have no choice, but I've got to hurt those people's feelings. Or they might not even get hurt and you just assume they'd get hurt. This is what this is around here. And this is why that tipping point happened. It's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't watch someone being hurt like this. I can't keep being hurt like this. That takes you to the edge. Tipping point, the breaking point And then you have that conversation that should have been had with greater ease. So if you look at it and think, I don't want to hurt their feelings, and if that's the reason, would they consider you in the same way? Would they consider your feelings in the same way? Are they considering your feelings in the same way? Wait. Empress. So in your masculine energies, allow those emotions to flow. Why are you doing certain things? What is the emotion connected to? Have you shut your emotion off? Have you gone through a process of holding your emotion back because you're scared or worried about hurting someone else's emotion, and then you don't do the next thing, so you don't take that job, or you don't take that that project on, or you don't take the promotion, whatever it is, you don't move to that new place, or you don't do something because you're worried about someone being upset about it, or they actually are saying, I'm upset about that, don't do it. But you don't do it because they're saying it to you to not do it, not because you don't want to do it, not because it doesn't feel good, but because someone said to you, don't do it. Empress is saying you need to step up beyond that. You need to find your power. 9 of Cups. Find your power. Fill your cups up. Fill it up. Fill your own. There's a 10th one there. Take out all of the negative energies. Allow that cup, the 10th cup, to come over here, so you can have wholesome fulfillment, so you can have more of an idea of what you're truly capable of and your true potential. Hope that was helpful. Like I said, there's a few playlists you can check out. All the playlists in the past are basically a free resource. You can pick and choose as you want. And with that, until next time, peace and love.